What's going on? It is Wednesday, January 25th, and live from London, this is Streaming on Streaming. You gotta love that intro music. I love it. It gets me dancing. Welcome to Streaming on Streaming live, as I said, from across the pond, whichever way the pond is from you. If there is a pond between you and London, whatever. This is Streaming on Streaming, the weekly live show right here on the AWS Twitch channel, where we talk about Amazon Interactive Video Service and pretty much all things live streaming. I am at a conference over in London, the NDC conference, and so that's the reason for the change of scenery. I'm in the lovely Conrad St. James Hotel. Very lovely, very beautiful. I'm slightly grumpy today because I have not eaten much all day, but it's all good. We will make it through. I invite you all to partake in your favorite beverage, although that might be a little difficult. It might be a little difficult if it's like 1 p.m. in California, although a lovely beverage does not have to be alcoholic. You can take a coffee or a water. I will be partaking, living on the edge, living dangerously. I will be partaking in this delightful Kingsdown natural spring water, the sparkling variety. I was tricked earlier and actually accidentally opened the still version and was expecting bubbles and wondered why it was flat until I looked at the bottle and realized what was going on. So today's episode, favorite beverage is a chocolate protein shake. Really? Are you being serious there, Aaron Hunter? Because that's an interesting choice for a favorite beverage. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't hear many people saying they enjoy protein shakes. I've certainly never enjoyed them. They're good to drink. They're healthy. But it's not my favorite flavor in the world. My son's been getting into protein shakes lately. He's been working out a lot. Shout out to Dominic. And, but yeah, what else is everybody partaking of? This is your stream today. This is office hours style. Obviously, with me traveling, it is a little trickier to come up with content for the show or kind of do the prep required to do a good show. So we're going to do office hours. There's 46 of us here at the moment, and this is your show. So we're going to talk about streaming as usual, interactive video service, live streaming in general, what it takes to do something like this every week, especially when you're on the road. You don't have your good microphone. You don't have your neon signs behind you. You just have this lovely fabric headrest for the bed. And at least, I will say, at least there's not the amazingly loud construction work that usually goes on during the day going on right now. So I do have that going for me. So TPM says protein shake with milk is amazing. That's a good point. I guess that does kind of transform the experience a little bit. And of course, all extra protein, right? So Aaron Hunter says, yes, sir. Post-workout. Already has BCAAs in it. I really enjoy them. Aaron Hunter says also, Todd, you need a neon sign on your sweater. Actually, that's interesting that you say that, Aaron, because I don't know if I highly doubt any of you watch. Well, I don't highly doubt. You never know. Some of you may watch Big Clive on YouTube. He's a prolific poster. He somehow manages to put up videos many a week, 3, 4, 5 a week. He does usually two. He does a weekly live stream on some other channel, which is not Twitch, but that's okay. I've tried to get him to use Twitch, but we're working on that. What's my point? So, okay, Big Clive. He does electronics. He does teardowns. He does reverse engineers them. He does build projects sometimes. A lot of really interesting stuff, and he's got an amazing voice for videos and for live streams. Really entertaining, really funny, clever, kind of crude at sometimes. He even says that in his YouTube channel description, but that's okay. All good. So, point being, Big Clive has, during his live streams, he's all about LEDs, and he has this little, what he calls a supercomputer badge made out of LEDs, and it's just made up of one of his, he's made some of them, some of his viewers, subscribers have made other ones, but it's essentially just color changing LEDs, and it kind of just looks like a little supercomputer from, like, 1980s sci-fi movies, whatever. All of that being said, the point of me bringing that up is to say that I'm totally want to make a Twitch icon, the little glitch icon, out of LED neon. So yes, believe it or not, you may have been joking, Aaron, but it's on my list of things. Kodaf says, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I am new in AWS. What tips do you have for me to start learning? And Aaron Hunter replied, thankfully, thank you for helping out there, Aaron. Check out skillbuilder.aws. That is a fantastic resource. I will also say, continue to check out this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AWS. Tons of amazing shows. Build on AWS with Darko and Jackie. Talked about them many, many times. Is a fantastic show. Every week they have a new topic. They talk about CDK. They talk about, 2 weeks ago, we talked about interactive video service and live streaming. So tons of good stuff here on Twitch. And in general, there, other than Skill Builder, there is just really good documentation in many of the user guides on the AWS Docs page. I know that the Docs team is very hardworking, very dedicated to the quality of their content and keeping it up to date. So check out the docs. I would say keep watching here on Twitch. And depending on the service, there are many different resources available to you. So for example, AWS Amplify. I know that Ali Spittle has recently worked on some really cool courses to learn AWS Amplify. So each team kind of puts out their own content sometimes, and you can catch those in different places. So depending on what your focus is, Kadif, post some more questions in the chat. Certainly, if you have any other specific questions on specific AWS services, but if you're just talking about cloud in general, there is tons of other resources. So have a bunch of questions coming in here, so that's awesome. Appreciate it. Keep them coming, and love to answer anything that you have. Boyzoid says, actually, I'm sorry, I missed Cloud Guru 2053. Let me go to Cloud Guru 2053 first. Cloud Guru 2053 says, hi, off topic, can you share guide AWS Data Lake, analytics with NLP, ML project with architecture diagram, and recommended AWS service list regarding that project? And very thankfully, Aaron Hunter is following up with an answer. Aaron is also on the DA developer advocacy team here at AWS, and very much appreciate him joining and helping out in the chat. 1000%. Aaron, you should come on camera with me. I'll send you an invite if you want to come on, and you could just be on stream with me today. Totally 100% serious. If you want to, let's do it. But Aaron Hunter replies, there are a lot of resources available on ramp up guides where you can get, okay, cool. Aaron says, sure. So there are a lot of resources available on ramp up guides where you can get additional training, and some have diagrams. You can see here is a link. So I'm going to invite Aaron. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to quickly open up Slack because I had closed it. And Aaron, I will shoot you that link post haste. While I do that, talk amongst yourselves. The topic is best English food. And there is your link, Aaron Hunter. We will have him on shortly. So, best English foods. Love this, doing it live. Absolutely, 100% Amy. We will do it live in the immortal words of Bill O'Reilly. Aaron has joined. Let me go ahead and add him to the stream. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, Todd? How are you? What time is it? Like
It's like
9 p.m.?
it is 9 p.m. It is. It's like 1 p.m. for you, right?
3:10. I'm just outside
3:10.
of Dallas.
I didn't know you were in Texas. We should have hooked up
Yeah.
last week. Well, I guess I wasn't really close to Dallas. I was in Round Rock. Is it Round Rock? Yeah, by
Oh, yeah,
Austin.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That conference?
Yes, exactly. That conference.
Nice. Nice. Cool.
You weren't
You're
there,
like
were you?
I wasn't. I wasn't. But
Okay.
I heard a lot of great things about that conference and you're at NDC this week, so amazing. Cool.
I am. I am. It's been a little bit of a road warrior thing so far this year, which is it's okay. It's not bad. I'm good with it, but a little rough to go from Texas to London in 2 weeks. Thankfully, I say thankfully. I should never say thankfully, but I did get rejected. Yeah, exactly, Boyzoid. That was going to be my first comment. What the hell? How does his room look so awesome with no notice? It's like he's got this streaming setup. He's got the headset. He's it doesn't even
Ready.
have to throw a hat on because his hair is messy, like I would have had to do.
You got lucky. I have an appropriate shirt on today.
That's great. That's fantastic. And I love the lights too, man. You've got the setup. Do you stream here?
I do. I do. awspowerhour.com. All the videos are there. It's all over Twitch. We're doing a new one. Actually, I'm flying to DC tomorrow to
Oh
stream
wow.
job roles in the cloud. But that's all right.
To stream what?
Job roles in the cloud, live from Skill Center Arlington.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that stream is tomorrow?
The stream is on Friday. Good correction. Thank you. I'm flying there tomorrow, where I'm going to do the tour, going to record some stuff on my phone. Might throw it on Twitter. I don't know. If anyone wants to see it, go ahead and give me a follow.
And that's Aaron S. Hunter on Twitter as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much Aaron S. Hunter everywhere except TikTok. Someone else already has Aaron S. Hunter. I don't know.
Let me just post a banner here real quick. Follow Aaron on Twitter. So we're all over the place here, but that's all
This
good.
is office hours. There's no agenda for office hours.
This is 100% true. So back to chat. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. I just started using it. Actually, this is my first stream with StreamYard. It's pretty cool tool.
I like it. Yeah.
Especially for this. I mean, I had been previously, and I should be using Twitch Guest Star, but it's a little trickier if you want to do custom things. Not trickier, I shouldn't say, but it takes a little more. It's a newer service. It'll eventually be amazing, but StreamYard kind of fits what I needed to do right now. So awesome. So what time's your flight tomorrow?
8:25, I think, something like that.
Nice. And what's
Yeah,
that?
not too bad.
3-hour flight?
Yeah, 2.5, 3 hours. Not too bad.
Going into Dulles?
Actually, Reagan.
Reagan, wow.
Yeah.
People don't.
Yeah.
Nobody. I never hear Reagan.
Yeah, going straight to DCA.
Okay, excellent. Do we have offices out there? Is that where you're going, or is this like a
HQ2 is out there?
Oh, right, of course. And I just recently also read that apparently they're making some significant like expansion in the Arlington area.
I read that. Yeah, it hit the news yesterday. By the way, everyone, even though we work for the company, we still read things on the news. So we're not privileged,
right? At all. And I wouldn't even share. I wouldn't share it if I could. But thank you for clarifying. Whenever I talk about something like that, it's absolutely something that I read on the public internet. So,
yeah.
All right, let's hit a couple of these questions back here. So, can you share? And this will be a good question for you as well, Aaron. Can you share with everyone what your normal setup is? What camera, mic, lighting do you use?
Yeah, so I think that was for you before I jumped on, but I have two Elgato key lights. I have one at 8% and one at 3%, so I can turn those off real quick and you can see how dark my room gets, just like gnarly.
Oh, wow.
So I have that controlled from a Stream Deck. I have a Gaomon tablet as my drawing tablet, so when I'm teaching or streaming, I can draw on that. I have a teleprompter that I'm looking at right now, so that I'm using OBS to control the screen from my laptop or my drawing tablet onto my teleprompter monitor. And then I have a 34-inch ultra wide screen that I split in between two screens as I need to, or I combine it to one if I just want to have a really wide landscape.
How do you split it into two screens?
Fancy zones through Windows stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
Windows. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Because I'm a Mac user and I have my 34-inch ultra wide, but that's been my challenge on live streams. Is like I have to. Usually, I just drop it the resolution way down and get it to kind of letterbox it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I need to find a solution where you can kind of do that. What you're talking about there. So just a simple setup that you have there, Aaron. Nothing complicated.
Yeah. Simple setup. I can tell my Echo device to turn everything off. So I say, Echo, turn off Aaron's office, and I'm gonna mute the actual wake word. I don't want to trigger anyone else's machine. Turn
Jeff
off Aaron's
Blanken.
office, and then everything goes off in the background. But I have normally my lights plugged up. But I stole those light plugs for Christmas lights, and I haven't brought them back into my office yet.
Ah, man, I have a billion things I want to keep talking about because you keep saying cool things. That's my challenge too. I do that same thing every year. I steal them for Christmas lights and then I forget to bring them back. Um, so so my setup is pretty similar. I have two LED lights, and actually a friend of mine who's in this stream here in the chat, we were talking a little bit about this earlier, and Boyzoid was in that chat as well. So that's probably why he's prompting me to with this question. But it's a great question. So two LED panel lights that I use for video, and I have another question. Don't let me forget to ask you about this. Two LED panels. I have them turned facing the wall to diffuse the light.
Do a bounce, yeah.
Right, because facing your face usually is a little too much. Right now in my fancy Conrad St. James hotel room, I have a desk lamp pointed at my face, which if I turn that off, you could see the difference there.
Oh, yeah.
Lighting is very important for streams. I would say it's something that a lot of people kind of probably don't think of as much when they want to do live streaming, especially if you're doing anything with your face or a camera that's kind of taking real life as opposed to a desktop or a video game. Lighting is very important. It's key. You want to make sure, but you don't want to have it too bright.
No.
I have a Sony A7S DSLR on a monopod that's bolted to the back of my desk. That's up above my 34-inch ultra wide.
Nice bokeh with like a 2.8 lens.
Yeah. No, it's a huge lens. It's like 80 millimeter. I'm not a huge camera guy, but it's probably not the best lens for that setup, but I make it work. I should buy a new one. I should buy a better one. I also have a Stream Deck, as you do, probably not quite as sophisticated as you. I assume those Elgato lights kind of integrate with that via.
Yeah, it's all done through
Elgato.
Control Center. Yep, exactly.
Okay.
All done through Control Center. I control my audio through Voice Meter Potato, all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. I have a Beacon mic, which I highly recommend if you're looking to do any kind of streaming. We're
promoting all the products today. Hey, sponsors,
yeah,
hit us up.
Exactly. Look at us. But it's like, I think it was $300. No, maybe it was 200. But I like it because it's USB-C. You don't have to mess with any kind of XLR connectors or any kind of go-between. And it's really high quality for USB-C.
Nice.
So it's a good mic. I've got that on a little stand that's on my desk. I used to have a boom, but the thing got kind of creaky and old, and so I got rid of that. What else do I have?
You said you have one more question for me as well.
Yes.
And while you're thinking about that, there's one question from the chat. It says, from Cloud Guru 2053, it's in response to something I said earlier about Skill Builder. It's not 100% free. And so to sign up for Skill Builder, skillbuilder.aws, the service itself is free. You can sign up for it. You can have access to over 500 free online on-demand courses, but there is a paid individual subscription portion for $29 a month. And that gets you access to more on-demand content, and all the roles with Cloud Quest as well. So check it out, play around. But you have over 500 free on-demand courses.
That's a ton. Do you produce any content for that?
I don't. No, we have an
No.
actual team that does all of that. I'm on the other side of training. So,
Gotcha. Is
yeah.
that under Greg? Greg, what's Raymond Camden? You know Greg from Greg Wilson. Is that under his team?
No, it's actually under Bryant Condy, and they work with like Skill Builder, their Skill Builder PMs, and yeah.
Okay. To the chat, and again, we are doing office hours, so feel free to please ask any questions that you like, anything you want to learn about.
Trevor James is saying +1 to the Skill Builder practice exams. Nice, thanks, Trevor.
Trevor James, yeah.
And then
lists. Oh wait, before I do that, let me ask you that question. So regarding setup and lighting, my friend Raymond Camden, who's in the chat, I believe, asked me earlier in a private chat, how do you keep the lights from reflecting on your glasses? So Aaron,
okay.
you are wearing glasses, so what's your best tip for that?
That's been, I see Raymond says I'm here. Hey, Raymond. That's been a struggle. So ever since I started streaming, I was like, what's the right setup? What's the right angle? I have my 34-inch ultra wide. You can actually see like how bright the light's getting off just my hand. So
Yeah.
that's off to the side. And that's the key thing that I can tell anyone who wears glasses or opticals. I kind of tried using a ring light, which goes right around the lens and it gives you really nice soft light, but then you see the ring in your glasses. So by having the one Elgato key light off to the side, doesn't have to be Elgato key light, by having a main light off to the side, I'm getting a nice glow, which I should probably take a tissue and kind of dab that. And then by having another key light or some kind of, it's a fill light, technically is what it would be called. So you have your main light here, and then you have a fill light over here, and this gives me a nice warm glow, and I have it set at a warmer temperature. That's why I keep the light off my glasses.
You're like a pro at this over there.
Nah, it's just a hobby.
So my tip to him was, and he'll have to try it and let me know. But my tip was, and it wasn't so much for glasses because I wear glasses, but I also wear contacts, and I usually wear contacts. But that's why I turn mine to face the wall, because I get that kind of more diffusing off of that. And a good diffuser on your light is also helpful. Not gonna make everything perfect, but
yeah,
a good diffuser that kind of dulls that light so it's not so bright, like I don't have here. That's why it's not the greatest quality, because this is just a simple LED bulb that I just blinded myself with by looking at. So anyone from UK in the chat, I do have to ask you this. This little desk lamp earlier, when I was playing with it, setting it up, I touched it and I got a shock off the thing. Is that common here in the UK? Or because I know you got the whole 240 volt thing going on, but I don't know. So AWS Made Easy says, great to hear about your streaming setups. Very fun to nerd out about that stuff. Absolutely. Liz Who says, hi, currently doing a bachelor's degree. I'm very interested to get into a solutions architect role. What are the different ways I can get internship in AWS? Thank you. That's a great question. Aaron, do you have any insight into that?
You can probably check out Restart. So there's Restart, it's a full-time classroom-based skills program. Just type in your favorite search browser, AWS Restart, and see if that's going to be beneficial to you.
Excellent. Solutions architects. It's an interesting role. It's a friend that a couple of us here, a couple of folks in chat also know him as well. Is on the, well, I guess it's more of the SaaS factory that he works with now, which is like, I think solutions architects focused on like SaaS products, but it's a crucial role, and I think sometimes those folks don't get enough credit for what they do, because it's a very kind of to be as technical as they are, but to also kind of interface with customers and solve specific problems is a unique skill set. So thank goodness for solutions architects.
Yes, very, very important role. I have a lot of friends who are SA solutions architects. honestly what they do and how they help enable businesses from all levels really transform and create a vision and start to execute on that vision with the right guidance. And it's amazing. Seriously, it's yeah.
Yeah, one of my sales BD folks who actually lives here in London actually messaged me about creating some content for an essay training about Amazon Interactive Video Service. So it takes a lot of resources, and that's one of the things that I would say developer advocates do. I had on my notes that I kind of wanted to get into some of the things developer advocates do in their day-to-day, because I don't know, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about. So one of the things a lot of things we do, you see us doing live streams, you see us speaking at conferences, you see our blog posts that we publish and promote on our Twitter and LinkedIn. But there's a lot of kind of unseen that we do that I think is kind of interesting. It's like, I like to say, someone asked me recently, so you're an evangelist? And I don't have any problems with the term from a religious connotation, but the reason I don't like the term evangelist is because it tends to me at least, imply outbound only, right?
Mm,
And there's nothing wrong with that. There are people who like to speak at conferences and just create outbound. But to me, developer advocacy involves inbound as well, right? So a
yeah.
lot of talking to developers and testing out internal betas and products and giving feedback to our teams that,
Listening to the community.
yes, figuring out what we can do better, trying to make a better product. And I think that's the real combined value of developer advocacy, is that internal portion of it. So Raymond Cameron says they're still angry about that whole Revolutionary War thing. I guess that's why I'm getting buzzed
That's
from
the
this
shock.
recording. Let's see here. Cloud Guru says the AWS Skill Builder site, is it updated frequently with the content?
Yeah, so I answered that. There
Ah,
are always content, there's always releases. Check it out. You can actually see when things are updated, when things are released. There's actually, if you go to skillbuilder.aws, you can filter for a course and then you can sort by release date.
mm, excellent. Perfect. Um, Raymond Camden says, part of my DA job, I act like a first user. I give feedback on docs, usage, etc. Blunt feedback. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. You, that first user, like, I've never seen this before. You got to keep that mindset, because it can be very easy to get comfortable in our products that we use all the time. It's the more you use something, the more you read the docs, the more you've messed around with it, it can be very easy to forget that the things that you assume, take for granted, are easy to you might not be easy for that person who's using it for the first time. So that's a really great point. Kind of try to keep that perspective of, this is the first time I've ever touched it. What do I think of this document? Liz Who says, thank you. As for me, I like communicating with people a lot and really like what AWS has been doing with their services and products. Very interesting. What do you do today, Liz Who? Just interesting. Just interested in why solutions architect is a role that appeals to you. I'm just curious what you do today. Tom
Yeah, and
Scott. Oh, go ahead.
no, and I think it's really interesting because whenever I see the communication, the appreciation, and how AWS is helping their business or their products, I always think back to trying to buy that person some time too. I always think back to when I joined back in 2015 when we had less than 40 services. Now we have over 200. So that pace of innovation, the growth, and we just launched like our 31st region. So now we're at 99 availability zones and 31 regions. It's just we had 5 back in 2015. Now we have 31 regions. It's just insane.
It can definitely be overwhelming, I would say. I joined back in July. I joined Twitch, and I had been away from working with AWS on a daily basis for about 4 years. So 2018, I think, is when I had moved to the different cloud company. And so I used AWS a little bit in the meantime, but not nearly as much as I previously did. So, but just that gap of 4 years for me, it was just like, wow, what happened over here? What are all these services? What do they do? How? But you know what I love about AWS? The fact that I just saw a post from Jeff Barr on LinkedIn. He said that AWS Lambda, I think he said it uses like 80 different services under the hood. So the really cool thing to me is how all of these services do work together really well. They partly because they actually use each other under the hood. But one of the really cool things about interactive video services, we have integration with Lambda, we have integration with EventBridge, CloudWatch, all of these other services. And I know some people kind of might feel like that leads to vendor lock-in, and I can appreciate that concern. But at the same time, they make your life so much easier when you don't have to roll your own monitoring, roll your own logging, roll your own event bus, whatever you want to use, your own serverless. You trade it off. You can either roll your own and spend the time, money, and resources to maintain that, to manage it, and do all of that, or it's the typical cloud argument, right? Like, should I use the cloud? Well, you cannot use it and pay one way, or you can use it and pay another way. It's you're going to be paying
And then
either way.
optimize as
Right.
well. So if you use the cloud, if you use like AWS, because we have 31 regions globally, you can also scale globally super fast. A couple clicks.
Perfect point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Boyzoid says like the dashboard is really intimidating. There's so much. So there's a lot, but you can filter it down by some kind of service category.
Yeah, let me share my screen here and let's talk about that a little bit.
I didn't tech check before I jumped on. Is my mute working? I just cleared my throat.
I did not hear a throat clear, so you are good.
Perfect. Tech is working. Tech check while live.
Let me share my screen here, and I will share the console. Are we seeing the console there? Wait, no.
I see the console.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so Boyzoid. So Boyzoid is a person I know very well outside of the stream here, so I know his level of experience. Have you used AWS much recently, Boyzoid? Because like Aaron was saying, there has been a lot of changes, and the thing I've found helpful the most since I came back here is this search. So let's say I want to create a secret. I can search for secret, and all of the services that relate to secret, and they're actually pretty. Let me think of a good example here. Auth. If I search for auth, IAM comes up, for example. So it's not just a keyword search. There's intelligence to this. It actually helps you find the services that you want based on your search string, not just matching a keyword that you're looking for.
And
so,
even though SSO is, it went under a new name now it's Identity Center, you can still type SSO. I'm still going to pull it up.
Exactly. Successor to AWS single sign-on. So it's a really good search. It's really powerful. And it's not just services here. It'll show you features. It will show you docs, blog posts, documentation. It's a very, very powerful thing that Omnibox, search box, whatever you want to call it, to use. So I would say that's a big one. You also have your traditional kind of what the heck do they call these menus?
Like grouping by category. Yeah.
So you can come in here and, like, if you're working on blockchain or if you're working on machine learning, you can see all the services related to machine learning. So that's another good one. Another good tip I would say is to take advantage of this kind of favorite feature. So like Amazon, so if I search for IBS, Amazon Interactive Video Service, you can actually star these services and they will appear up here in your kind of little favorites bar, and you can then just like drag and drop them if you want to sort them, anything like that. So those, I guess, would say are my kind of tips for navigating the console. That's Cloud Shell, right? Yeah. So forget that.
That's something new. I was looking for it. I just found it. So I'll drop a link in the chat so that way anyone since we're talking about the console, you can
Mhm.
use Resource Explorer, and you can start searching for resources that are in your account directly through the search bar.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
interesting.
still expanding. They're expanding that service, that feature, but it's a really cool, powerful thing. So you can search for compute instances directly from the management console.
So specific compute instances, like by name, for example.
Yeah, and you can turn it on. All the details are in that link that's in the chat. It's pretty
So
cool.
if I wanted to find a channel by name, I could search for demo channel and it would be able to find that. And so that's something you have to turn on or enable?
You have to turn it on, enable it, do it in your account, play it around later. But yeah, that's something that's pretty
Okay.
powerful for a lot of users to be able to look beyond just what's in there in front of them and identify more details within Resource Explorer in the console.
Look at that. I learned something new today as well. Excellent. They added recent tools or something in the last few years. That helps a lot. Uh, did I miss? Okay, no. Josh says try reaching out to AWS alumni connections via LinkedIn who would be open to sharing their stories past in an informational interview. There are no one size fits answers in career pathing, and those conversations are super valuable. Great point, Josh. And that kind of touches on, to me, one of the biggest things really about just tech in general, right? Networking is so valuable to your career. I tell it to my kids who are teenagers all the time. It's that old kind of cliche, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Maybe that's not 100% true, but there is so much value in who you know and the relationships that you make along the way. IT, programming, developing is a huge global community, but I am shocked at how many times I come across folks that I've met many, many years ago. I'll run into them, cross paths, find them working at the same company as myself. When I first started here at Twitch, I got Slack messages from people I had known 10, 12 years ago. Hey, I saw on LinkedIn you joined. Cool. It's so networking is, I can't say enough about networking. Aaron Hunter, can you tell us about this is a great one. Let's talk
It
about this.
is.
Let's
It is.
talk. Can you
I
talk
mean,
tell us about the AWS interview process, very high level, how many rounds, how many hours each interview section, how long it takes, any take-home projects, etc. So you can go ahead and start, and I'll add my
yeah. So
experience.
my experience is different because it was 8 years ago. So the process has changed since then slightly, just because we evolve with the talent that we're looking for, the process. It's much better now. I'll tell you that much. So way better than it was 8 years ago. But one thing that I can say is, even though I can't speak directly to all of that and what you might be looking for, we do have a lot of public information about it. So, how we hire, about the interview process, if you're going for a software engineering role, for example, what that might look like. So, based on the role that you're looking for, you're going to have a different experience. It could be 45-minute interviews that are over the phone, and then maybe it turns into uh, I mean, back before 2020, it was all in person, on-site
Right.
interviews, and then started going into virtual interviews. And now there's a mix between virtual and on-site based on the location that you're hiring for, the role you're hiring for. If it's a data center technician, they have to see you in person, so they might fly you to the data center under NDA, that kind of stuff, non-disclosure agreement. For other roles, it could be a 1 hour interview that has 4, 5, or 6 interviewers across a single day or across multiple days. There's the technical interview, there's functional interviews, there are hiring managers, and there's something known as a bar raiser. So they're there to lead the overall decision, and they're not part of the team. So there's that. So there's this non-biased party that helps just to outside perspective make sure that we're making the right decision for Amazon. So I can't speak to all your questions, but I hope that gives you a little bit more detail. Check out the link that I sent in the chat, and yeah, I think Todd has some of his experience to share too.
So you made me a little nervous about what I can share. So I kind of have toned down what I was going to share, but you did a great job explaining it. And how we hire, that's a great link. You've got all the links. I don't know. I guess it's the 8 years that you've been here that you kind of have accumulated all this
It's
knowledge.
I search the internet literally when it's asked. Yeah.
The old Google trick. So,
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's out there. Like,
yeah, true. So, what role did you start at in 2015?
so 2015, I started as a cloud support engineer, otherwise known as a CSE. So if you hear me say CSE, that's what that is. And they are the team where if you have an issue or problem or a highly technical question and you need someone to ask, then you open a support case. So I worked on the support team working through support cases way before the day when we had like service specific or profile specific type cases. So it was you have customers and they have questions, they need help, so I was supporting everything.
What's the
Eventually we
difference
went
between
way.
a CSE and an SA? Is it just the channel that the support they deliver? Like CSE is more for support and SA is more for sales. Is that kind of the difference?
So I can't actually talk to that, like, because I don't know. It's not that
Okay.
that I can't. It's just I don't know the clear answer for it. One thing that I can say is CSEs work with SAs. So I would work with solutions architects. I would work with technical account managers in that role, and we would help their enterprise level issues. Maybe there's something known as an IEM. This is public info. You can search the internet for it. So it's an incident and event management. So if a customer knows they're going to launch this really big, super cool product and they expect a lot of traffic, they submit a request with our team to create an IEM. And then the support engineers work with the team, the TAMs work with the team, the SAs work with the team and the customer, and we uh, walk with the customer through that journey all the way up to the finish line and beyond it. So that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So after your CSE, what did you do then?
So I had a journey. I went from CSE to like quality assurance stuff. I led a team there, and then I went back to being a CSE for a couple of years, and it was great. I wasn't looking for a new role, but I saw a friend of mine was looking to hire people, and I offered to help with the interview process because that's something else that I do.
Mhm.
And I said, "Hey, go ahead and shoot me the info, and I'll review it." And hey, everyone, type your questions in the chat. Let us know. While you're waiting, let me know if you've interviewed anywhere recently. Okay, I don't want to know where, but how was your experience, good or bad? Um,
Especially
so
interesting given the recent tech news, kind of in general overall. I'm especially interested in that answer from the chat as well.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt there.
no, you're good. You're good. So, as part of one of my roles, to help with the interview process, I was able to connect with him, and once I read through everything, I was like, I'm actually interested in the role. Where do I sign? Where do I apply? So now I became a tech trainer, and that's the role that I'm currently in as a senior technical trainer on the training certification team, focusing on delivery. So I teach virtually, I teach in person, I go to summits and lead webinars and breakout sessions, I go to Twitch and stream online, I work very closely with the on air team and I talk about new product launches. So, yeah, that's what I do
Nice.
now.
Um, and I apologize if some of this is rehashing some of what you've already covered, maybe in your own streams or anything like that. But my audience may not know you as much, so and I don't know you as much, so I'm asking you for my own benefit as well. So that said, give us your rehash on reinvent, and I'm very ups. I want to apologize to you. I wanted to meet up with you. I know you messaged me and you wanted to meet up.
I know,
I
I
ended up
know.
getting super sick at reinvent. Like I got the flu
Oh,
and
no.
basically spent the last day in my hotel room kind of watching Netflix because I didn't want anybody else to get sick. But so what was your overall kind of, and how many have you been to? Have you been to all of them since you joined?
No, not to all of them. I've been to a few. I think it was three now. One back in like 2015, 2016, and then 2021. What year is it? 2021 and 2022. So I went to those two, and I supported the 2021. So I guess technically it's four because 2020 was all virtual. So my thought about this past reInvent was it was. Um, the sheer number of people that have returned to in-person summits just showcases the fact that in-person attendance really does go a whole long way. There's virtual. I'm so glad that industries have adapted and changed and embraced virtual participation, virtual awareness. But being in person, being able to shake a hand with someone who is from Singapore or Australia, or you being in London now, and being able to have these conversations, that's really where to me it was the power of being at reInvent this past year, seeing everyone and being able to communicate with them. I ended up streaming a lot at reInvent. I didn't do any in-person conversations or talks, so we streamed from the honor stage.
What's the honor stage?
So the honor stage, it's AWS on air, and we
Oh,
launch
oh, oh.
new services. Yeah,
I thought you said honor, like Honor. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, there's that too. It's basically an honor to be on the honor stage.
I saw that. That was on the third floor, right? Of whatever that hotel was. That I can't
It
remember.
it was one of those floors in one of those hotels. There were
It was
so
kind of like
many.
tucked away in the back. Or no, was
Yeah,
that on the first floor?
it was on the first floor of the Venetian. So you
That's
walk
where it
into the
was.
first floor, right
Like
by
right
like,
by the expo, right?
yeah, yeah. It
I
was
Oh wow, that was like quite the setup over there. They had like the pro lighting and cameras
there
and
was a
all that.
lot of foot traffic. It was intimidating to see everyone walking by you because all the traffic basically went past the on air, not the honor, the on air stage.
Liz who and again, chat, we've got 15 minutes left here. Love to hear your questions. This has been a blast. Any other questions, streaming related, AWS related, developer related, we're happy to answer them. I am happy to answer them. I'm not going to speak for Aaron. He may not be happy to answer your questions. No.
Always, no, yeah, I am. I'm always happy.
Liz Who says, I study cloud technology and information security. I love engaging in club activities, organize events, meeting new people to improve myself generally. Since the essay role is a combination of knowledge about AWS services and explaining, creating demos, it sparked interest in me. And I guess that brings up an interesting point, because and that's a really interesting that you've kind of even know that role exists for the set of skills that you have. But to me, it does kind of sound a little bit like developer relations as well, because developer relations is about creating demos. It's about exploring services. And another big part of my job is playing with stuff. Sometimes I may take a day or two to really just learn, explore a service. Teaching is part of it. Solving problems or questions, that's kind of the one aspect that you probably hit right on, that an essay role would be great for you, because it does involve a lot of solving businesses problems or questions. Developer advocacy, yeah, we can kind of help with that, but it's not specific. Usually it's not specific customers that we get involved with. It's more kind of broad community level. Cloud Guru asks, where's AWS regarding the VR? And Aaron replied, check out Sumerian.
I see that one about like quick
Yeah.
payments. Yeah, we can't talk about that, but you know what? We can talk about AWS services. So even though like I have no idea how payouts happen, but or how AWS works with them, we use them just like a regular customer. That's it. So a regular streamer, nothing special, nothing different. And then we stream using Twitch. So using
I
StreamYard to Twitch as a destination.
will throw this in chat for you, Avil, and I believe I've got that right. If you are interested in building your own interactive video streaming service, Amazon Interactive Video Service is something that you could use to build your own live streaming content. And if you're interested in learning more, you can check out ivs.rocks. And I hope I spelled that right. /calculator will be where you can estimate the costs for you to create your own live streaming experience and deliver that to your users. So also aws.amazon.com/ivs. Yeah, cool. So nobody ever talked amongst themselves earlier about British food and whether or not it is what their favorite British food is. So I guess we can't discuss that. Have you been to London, Aaron?
I haven't, and Steve Roberts is one of the DAs on the .NET team, and
He's probably
he
here.
he is there, and he's
Is he?
posting on Twitter, and I'm like, dang it, Steve! I was
Do you
like,
know
I got FOMO over here.
it's not British, but Scottish haggis.
Haggis.
You like that sausage, don't you, Raymond? Raymond lives in if hope he doesn't mind me sharing. He lives in Louisiana, and he talks about like blood sausage and boudin and all that stuff that they have down in Louisiana. Is there any integration that you're aware of for X-ray and Aurora serverless V2 from Trevor James?
No, I'm not aware of any. We would have to check the docs, and you know what? I'm scrolling up and down the docs now because I'm going to say I don't know. So if it's not in the docs, I'm going to say not as of today. So play around with it, explore it. If you find out that there is functionality and it's not in the docs yet, did you know our docs are open source and you can submit a request to get it fixed? Help us.
That's an excellent point. I won't say too much about the interview process, but that reminds me, when I was going through the interview process, I was reading the docs. I found bugs in the docs. I submitted, I wasn't trying to like impress anybody, but I actually did submit like PRs to the docs when I was trying to learn more about the service that I was interviewing for. So yes, that clicks too, but then for the developer role, you need to be good in code generally. And as for me, my interest is not in coding too much. I have the basics though. Haha. So that's Lisu regarding the SA role that she's in, that they are interested in. So
Trevor James says that they didn't know that the docs are open source. Okay. Yeah, our docs are open source. All the docs are visible on GitHub. You can actually just search GitHub for the docs. Let me see if I can find it. I keep saying docs. Like, you ever seen that Allen Iverson meme where he keeps talking about practice? We out there talking about docs,
practice, man.
talking about docs and open source and not closed source, not written paper. This is open source docs we're talking about.
Oh, Aaron, will you join me every week? You're a delight.
I can't do it every week, but you know what I can do? I can search the internet very quick and throw a link to github.com/AWS docs.
Look at that. 9:52.
Josh says practice.
Practice. Gosh, there's that meme. There's the Herm Edwards meme. Is that the one? Is that you play to win the game? Is that Herm Edwards? Or is that no? That's Denny Green.
No.
Denny Green. What's the Herm Edwards one? Boyzoid, you know the Herm Edwards one that I'm thinking of. There's another one. There's some classic sports memes. I also like the James Harden look away and walk away meme. That's another good one. Now we've devolved to talking about basketball memes in our.
You know what? That's what happens when the viewers don't ask questions. So you get what you get. Ask questions.
That's great. So, Aaron, what else? Before we close here, you have your live stream that you're going to be doing in DC area this week on Friday. Playoffs. Josh says Herm Edwards was playoffs, and
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So
and
Friday
I will not imitate that. So go ahead.
Friday is AWS Skill Center live from Arlington. Job roles in the cloud. I posted a link in the chat, so I'll be there with Duwan Lightfoot. So
I know Duwan. Duwan's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. He's from the DVA area, or whatever that means, DC, Virginia, I think.
Yep.
So he'll be there as well. We're both going to stream live, and then we're kicking off the entire series, and he's going to lead the other 5 episodes. So check it out. It's Friday right here, twitch.tv/AWS, Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So whatever that means in your neck of the world.
Other than that, what else you got going on?
Not a whole lot. Just kind of writing docs and writing feedback. A lot of feedback right now. It's feedback. It's a lot of it is due tomorrow, and that's what I was doing right before I jumped in. So nice distraction. Thanks a lot, Todd.
Well, you can feel free to blame me to your boss when that's not done, but no, 1000% appreciate you jumping in and chatting. It's been an absolute pleasure. I promise next time I will give you some sort of notice
Yeah,
if I want
no
you to
worries.
come on. But
No worries at all. I'll throw my Twitter link in there. So if anyone wants to follow me, and I'll post some stuff tomorrow, maybe from the airport, maybe when I get to the skill center. Who knows? We'll see. You might get some behind the scenes footage. I also talk about tacos a lot,
do you?
food, adult beverages. So if that's your thing, cool, go for it.
Okay, so we got 5 minutes. So are we just talking about like standard Americanized ground beef and old El Paso shells, or like actual real tacos?
Just if it fits in my hand, like this, it's gonna fit in my mouth somewhere. Yeah.
So my wife made tacos for dinner tonight. She told me, and I tried something new, and of course I try it when I'm out of the country and not available to test it out myself. But I bought the Impossible meat, and so I'm interested in
It's
getting her feedback on how that was.
I thought it was good. I had an Impossible Burger at reInvent during the certification appreciation dinner, and that was Thursday night right before replay. And I was so hungry, but besides how hungry I was, I took a bite into it, and I was like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good." My wife had no idea, and then we looked down and we saw a steak that said, the wooden steak that said
Yeah,
Impossible, and I was like, "It's an Impossible Burger. That's impossibly hard to tell that it's not
yeah.
real meat. It's so good."
I've had the burgers. I haven't had the ground meat. Imagine I mean, it's got to be the same exact thing, right? So, amazing. We are just plugging every product out there today in our little show
Yeah.
here. Adult
Change the
beverages.
title. Hashtag product sponsor not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
What is your preference for adult beverages?
That's an offline conversation. I'm not gonna brand anything
All
there.
right.
So there's
Okay.
that.
I mean,
We'll talk.
I guess category. What's your favorite? Are you a beer
Okay.
drinker?
Yeah.
Or?
So beer drinker
Okay.
is my
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. I enjoy beer as well. And I'm about to go enjoy one in about 3 minutes. So, how does AWS IVS compare to Elemental Media Live? That is a great question. And since we have 3 minutes, I will say, in a very shameless manner, I would suggest that you stay tuned to future episodes of Streaming on Streaming, and that's probably something that we would definitely get into. 3 minutes is tough to kind of go into something of that depth, but I will put a plug out there. Streaming on Streaming Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. London time, wherever you are. And one more question. Cloud Guru says, me being an AWS person, go AWS. Can you speculate AWS Cloud Market? I'm not going to touch that one.
No.
But yeah, so let's just end it there. So
Yeah.
Aaron, Hunter.
I'll say thank you, Tony and Wayne and T and Jason and Tech Bash for the follow on Twitter already. I'm looking forward to having conversations with each of you on different platforms. And Todd, thanks for the random invite to your show. This has been great.
Very much appreciate you joining and being such a great sport and so knowledgeable and willing to share all of your knowledge from streaming setups to everything else in between. So I am Recursive Codes on Twitter. If you want to give me a follow, I would appreciate that as well. And we can talk more and learn more. So Aaron, thanks again. Safe travels, and we'll see y'all next time.
Take care, everyone.
All right.